Hello and welcome to Dads of Detroit. We are filming live from Sherman, Texas. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am so excited to share a couple of our cultural responses to the things that have been going on in pop culture. It's obvious that the Cardi B model isn't a successful one. We'll tell you why in just a few moments. But I also want to talk a little bit about our friend, Miss Glorilla. Um, Coming from my perspective, someone who has come up in a less than ideal childhood, when we talk in the along the lines of like having money or not having money, we didn't come up privileged. I would say, being one who I think many of us at some point in our lives want to get out of the hood, if you will, right? Um, so we're going to jump into that. I want to know what your thoughts are on the whole Glorilla situation, as far as it pertains, as far as it relates to who's in the right and who's in the wrong. I try not to talk about. Uh, I try not to talk about our sisters if I don't have to, but our friends have come up in the news over the past couple of days. I want to one share a couple of my views on what's going on in pop culture, and then two, I want to hear from you. I want to know what your thoughts were on a couple of the stories that you may or may not have heard. Let's start with Cardi B and Stefan Diggs. You know, the Super Bowl was a few days ago, and if you are a fan of pop culture, and you see how that oftentimes intersects and commingles with professional sports. I think someone said in an interview some years ago, it's almost like the athletes want to be the rappers and the rappers want to be the athletes. And so those two worlds kind of run parallel sometimes. Well, Glorilla is, excuse me, she's the next story. Miss Cardi B, rather, who is also a top female rapper here in America. She is dating one of the more noteworthy household name receivers in the NFL, who actually just played in Sunday's Super Bowl, which I just referenced, Stefan Diggs. Now, if you have been following the what I would like to call the Cardi B experiment, then you would know, or you may have heard about the fact that she was once married to a rapper by the name of Offset. That marriage did not work out very well. Um, she ended up, having a very public split from Offset, who was and who is one of the three members of the Migos. You may remember the song. I'm just trying to catch you up to speed if you've been under a rock for the last decade. Um, a bad and bougie. Bad and bougie. Ooh, who got left out bad and bougie? I didn't get left out bad and bougie. Okay, so Offset is one of the members from that party, which was a really big rap group, a couple of years ago. And then Offset is a part of that group. Cardi B is a female rapper. Bam. They were married. They get divorced. A very public, very ugly breakup. And so Cardi B does what a lot of women do. And I think that's the reason that we'll talk about this today, is because Cardi B was one championed. And I get it. Cardi B had a pretty tough experience, because here it is, this young lady, and I'm looking from the outside in. I don't know personally, but from the outside in, it looks like a woman who has had a lot of success in her career, come from a checkered background, and has acquired the notoriety, the fame, the resources, if you will, that is necessary to leave that life. And it appears on paper as though she had done just that. And so then her separating from her husband was kind of like it was a fall from grace. I mean, who wants to celebrate a marriage being broken up, a home being broken up? They had children, or a child at least. And so no one's happy about that. But of course, as we do in society today, we found a way to celebrate Cardi B when she moved on to Stephon Diggs. So let's fast forward to Stephon Diggs, because Stephon Diggs isn't just any football player. He's not, you know, he's not, KD's a basketball player. He's not just someone who's famous or someone. It's not just the fact that he's known, but it's the fact, it's one of the reasons that he is known. Now, if you know anything about Stephon Diggs, he's not just known for who he is on the field, but he's kind of began to get this persona, this name for kind of being a ladies' man, almost to a fault. There was an interview that was done some years ago. I believe Stephon Diggs was still playing for the Minnesota Vikings at this time as a receiver for the Vikings. I believe that's who he was playing for. Keep in mind, he's played for a few teams now. I think he's played for Minnesota. I think he's played for Buffalo for a few years. I think he played for the Texans 1 year. And now he's on the Patriots, if I'm not missing any teams. And so the reporter was asking several different teammates. He asked the lineman, he asked the kicker, he asked the quarterback, he asked the receiver, he asked different positions on Stephon's team. If there was anybody on this team that you would not want your sister to date, who would it be? Each of them said without hesitation, Stephon Diggs. I might pull that video up and show it to you. It was kind of the beginning of Stephon kind of being known to be a ladies' man. And so obviously when you date someone like Cardi B, kind of more of the cultural world is now watching. And so athletes, the famous ones, may already have a girlfriend or two, or maybe a baby mama before they got to the league, and now a baby mama and a wife after they get into the league, right? And so now Stephon Diggs' life and his dating history has been put into a microscope. Yes, the what she's going for is different, right? She's not comparing him necessarily to the husband, but what she's going for is different. But nevertheless, you still get a good chance to see what in fact Stephon Diggs is really about compared to what Cardi B just had, right? That's what I want to really set the stage for what's going on. I guess we'll make that part one. Let's make that part one. Part one of the Cardi B, Stephon Diggs offset triangle. What we're kind of discussing, because I really want to make sure you understand where we are today and give you the context. I don't want to assume that you understand the context, and I hope that I've described that fairly up until this point. But Offset is a famous rapper. Cardi B is a famous rapper, female rapper, and Stephon Diggs is a famous receiver who is also known for being very fashionable and also known for being a ladies' man, up until the point that several of his teammates called him out at random when they were asked, who is it on the team that you would not allow your sister to date? Okay? Let's keep that all together as we move forward. Okay? So, part two, Cardi B and Stephon Diggs. You fast forward, Cardi B in the rebound relationship with Stephon Diggs. And I say rebound because, again, you come from a marriage, and now after that typically is the let your hair down phase. The next man, I'm not going to take it very seriously. I'm just going to kind of go with the flow. That's culturally what happens, right? Oh, I'll go with the flow. I'm not going to take it too serious. I was in a serious relationship and it didn't work out, so now I'm just having fun. And that's kind of what Cardi B called it, right? Or so that's what we thought. Sometimes the celebrities actually say things, and then sometimes we just speculate and put words into their mouth. So I can't say that I saw her say that, but that's the public consensus. Can we agree on that? Whether it's right or wrong, that's at least what we all know their relationship to be. And so obviously when you mix in the kid, it makes it a lot more complicated and a lot more chaotic. And this all kind of culminates at the Super Bowl. And this is not to suggest that their story overall is over, but right now they're obviously on a break. They unfollowed each other on Instagram, as is the way that you say you weren't dating someone or that you weren't friends with anyone or with a particular person today, right? you know, I guess in my time you change your Facebook status, right? But now you just unfollow them and kind of let the chips fall where they may. And so what that means, technically, culturally, is that they're broken up right now, which is so weird. Let's pause right. Let's pause. Let's pause right there, and let's ask ourselves. I want to know this from the women's perspective. Do you enjoy this level of relationships more? Do you enjoy relationships that are so loose and so fancy and so open to interpretation that it can be publicly acknowledged that a relationship is over simply because someone unfollowed you on a social media platform? Now, I'm not saying or putting into Stephon and Cardi B's mouth that that's the way that they told each other. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that that's like what they told each other, how they broke the news to one another. But what I am saying is that it's like it just seems a lot less free, a lot less serious. You know, when you can follow and unfollow someone that marks the ending of your relationship. It's like unfollowing them on social media. It seems less, I don't know, it seems less secure, you know? Like you can unfollow me, you can swipe past me, you can block me in a matter of seconds. Is that how easy it is to end relationships nowadays? It's like what I'm saying, you know? Nevertheless, there is a story being told, and the truth is somewhere in between his side of the story and her side of the story, and all the unnamed sources that you hear telling these stories. But what happens at the Super Bowl is Stephon Diggs has another companion who is also a mother of one of his children there, and I think I'll let you do your own research on what happened there and who's in the right or who's in the wrong. But what I really want to get to is the idea that this model doesn't work. It's a model that it's a model that just doesn't work. It's not a winning recipe for the type of relationships that people really want. It's really I'm really kind of getting at, and I'm asking and telling. I guess let me know in the comments what you think. But I don't think that these are the types of relationships that people enjoy while they're in them. And now we're seeing that you know, they end in a way that is really kind of hard to put lipstick on, if you know what I'm saying. And so if you come in the name of fun, then that's fine, but you can't explain the kid, right? Um, and so I guess we're pausing today to acknowledge that this isn't a winning model for the culture. It's not a winning model for Cardi B and for her family. And certainly you let her tell it. She's got enough money to make it all go away. I'm sure that's her response. That's fine. I'm neither here nor there. I'm not a therapist. But what I'm saying to you, normal person who isn't a famous rapper, who doesn't have $1 million lawyers, who doesn't have all of this going on, right? Who doesn't have cameras and paparazzi that has interest in your every move. You, normal person, you better be careful with how you model your life after these people, because this is not a winning model. It's not a winning model. And I understand this does not, absolve Offset of what he did. This does not absolve Cardi B. I mean, Stephon Diggs, and really even Cardi B for that matter. I guess this is more about who has to carry the baggage forward, right? For all intents and purposes, now we know that Offset has been clowned by Selena Powell a couple of times. Like, yeah, that takes a hit on the ego, especially given what he does. So much of what he does is about the ego, blah, 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 right? So, of course, he takes a hit. Stephon Diggs, it's going to be hard to be an outstanding grandfather, having been a ladies' man so much all these years. So obviously his name and reputation takes a hit. But who has to raise the kids day for day, right? And who has to deal with the public scrutiny and the public failure? I think the woman bears that more than the men do. Again, this is probably just a case study, just an example, and so many variables in their lives would make their situations different than ours, right? And not applicable, if you will. But I think what we are also doing, and I don't think we're acknowledging it, is that we're taking the models of these people's lives and we're using it for ourselves. And I want to just remind you that the Cardi B model has failed. It's failed. It's not a winning model. This relationship, this, fly by the, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, just kind of go with the flow and what happens, happens. It's not a winning model. I'm probably, if I'm her therapist, and I'm not, I'm recommending some time, right, after a breakup like that or something. But you fast forward 2 years, if that, out of a divorce, and you've got a child with someone else. Again, because of what she has to say, I'm sure she'll say it's not a problem. The child is the least of the issues. Nevertheless, when you have a child with someone, I think it's fair to acknowledge culturally we're still wired to want a family, to want that to work, to want it to not fall apart, right? And even if it's not official, we still want what it is to stay intact. And that's not what has taken place here. So I want to ask you if it's a winning model. I don't think it is. But let me know if you think the Cardi B model is a winning model. I personally believe that Cardi B failed you, ladies. Is personally what I think. We'll be right back. We're gonna talk about our friend. Mm, let me see. All right, let's get into this. Hello, hello, and thank you so much for watching Detroit's. Excuse me. Hello, hello, and thank you so much for watching the Dads of Detroit podcast. I'm your host, Chip C. I am curious to know who it is. Maybe we should make a list of the family members we're going to look out for and the family members we're not going to look out for once, in fact, we make it to the next level. I'm curious to know what you think about this conundrum, this kerfuffle, if you will, that's taken place on the internet over the last couple of days with Glorilla kind of going back and forth with her sister, her flesh and blood. If you see her here on the screen, um, man, I wonder what you think about this. Now, here's my thing. And let me tell you. Let me first set the stage before I get too excited. Let me set the stage for what has taken place, and hopefully you know a little bit about it. Hopefully you've done a little bit of your own research, or maybe you've seen it on your own algorithm. But they are kind of having a public spat right now. It's Glorilla and Brorilla is who you see. Brorilla is the stud sister rather, and Glorilla is the famous. Right. And let me also say this: I take no pride in sharing stories about our sisters that are less than positive and or seen as potentially disparaging. But I have to call a spade and say that Glorilla, I'm going to turn my mic up a little bit here. Glorilla has provided absolutely nothing positive to our culture. Nothing positive to our culture. If anything, this is an opportunity for us to discuss Glorilla in a way that gives us an opportunity to have some type of valuable lesson moving forward, because our music has given us nothing. If you have never heard her music, I would double dog dare you to Google the lyrics before hearing it. I mean, again, I'm pretty sure she has the best musicians and producers that money can buy. So the music sounds aesthetically pleasing. The beat drops where it should, and it sounds good. But what she's saying and spewing out is it's nothing short of garbage. And I wouldn't play it. I wouldn't play it in the playpen of a humane society. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't play it for my pigs to hear, because my pigs would become more infected, right? And so the only reason that I could talk about Glorilla in any way is to talk about this story and see what your values are and your priorities are as it relates to your family. I am of the belief that when you make it to the next level, you should take care of your people. I am of the belief that when you make it to the next level, that you should do everything within your power to, because we know that there are cousins. We know that there are people. I can't say siblings, right? I can't say siblings. I can't say that I'd have an issue helping any of my siblings, right? I've been blessed in that way. But I will say this. If in fact there was a case, a family member, a person, a friend that I could not help for one reason or another, I would go above and beyond, out of my way, to let it be known that I did everything that I could to help them. What that means is that if you can't stay sober, if you can't stay out of jail, if you are too far behind on your child support, there's probably nothing that I can do, but I'm going to show forth every effort possible to help you and meet you where you are, to give you a better opportunity. Glorilla, it sounds as though she wasn't willing to do that. And I want to strike the record. We must look after our people. Now, of course, we're going to hear the story, the intimate details of the story. And of course, you're going to take the side of Glorilla. She did it on her own. She, blah, 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 blah. I get that. But it's not like she's Oprah. It's not like she's LeBron James, who was, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you make music about the struggle. You make music about the culture. You make music about being African American in America. And we take care of our people. And so I think that this, as we look back, for those who even care about rap music to this degree, I think we're going to look back at this portion of 2026 and look at the L's that the female rappers have taken, and we're going to look back at this period as the beginning of the end of their reign, right? Megan Thee Stallion's gone soft, right? Don't look like too much of a hottie girl, right? Nicki Minaj has political views that are not accepted by the public mainstream. Let's just put it out there. I didn't say she was right. I didn't say she was wrong. I said she's got views that are frowned upon. And let me just put a pin in this. They don't mind you shaking your butt. They don't mind you talking about all manners of evil. It's when you begin to have an intellectual opinion and push back at their narrative. It's not about pushing back, because they want you to push back. They don't want you to push back at them. Oh, okay. I don't mind disagreeing. I just don't like the name calling that's associated with what she's doing. But anyway, she's not culturally cool right now, for sure. You got Cardi B, who, whatever relationship experiment she has been running for the last couple of years since she's gotten divorced from Offset, it has not worked out in her favor. It does not fit into the narrative of who she's told you she is. Again, it's a little bit different when you are an artist and you make art that's dedicated to animals' rights. You don't get caught at a steakhouse. You see what I'm saying? Like when that's the line of work that you do, then there's certain things that don't fit the narrative of the image that you've built. And these rappers have built an image, watch this, in Glorilla, accumulating, according to her music, money and opportunities, and the people that were closest to you in the struggle can't benefit from that? Well, if they can't benefit from that, then you better be able to show receipts of how you did everything imaginable to help those people. Because it's our responsibility. Why else do you get blessings if it's not to look out for your people? Like, let me know in the comments. And I get it. She did it on her own. That's fine. I get that. And maybe she can tell more of a story of why she doesn't look out for any of her siblings. And we don't know if that's the truth. But again, that's what's being said out loud. And she's not necessarily refuting it. She's responding in a way that, one, doesn't sound like typical tough Glorilla. I think that's worth noting. Is that the type of response and the way that you responded, it speaks in some cases volumes about where you really stand as it pertains to the music and the image that you portray. And so I think the mask has slipped in that fashion. But I think that if you make it, I think you should look after your people. That's my position. That's my position. I don't consider anything that I've done to be successful until what that is, that genre, that area, that location, my people can enjoy it. My people got to be able to enjoy it too. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't care if it's a section. I don't care if it's a section in the club. It's not a good time unless I can go back out and bring the homies or bring my lady, right? Like, that's what makes it a thing. It's being there, with your day ones, with your people. I want to know what you think about this. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that Glorilla should be obligated to help her family members? I do. I respect you if you don't, but I want to know what you think and why you think it. Thank you guys so much for watching Dads of Detroit. We'll be right back. All right. Thank you so much for watching Dads of Detroit. Now, before you go, I want to share an app that I am developing with you. It's called Gifter, and it is an app that centralizes and secures your birthday circles and your savings groups. You know, I read an article a couple of years ago about a group of friends who put aside some money, I believe it was each month, for 2 years. And at the end of it, they put their money together and purchased a development. Also, maybe you are familiar with the birthday circles. It's a fun group economic strategy where people come together and agree to pitch in a certain amount. Let's say you and 12 friends, each of you, for simple math, have a birthday in each of the 12 months, and you all decide to put in $10 a piece, right? And so that means each month of the year, the person who has a birthday in that month is going to get what? $120 minus the 10 that they would contribute, $110, right? From their birthday circle, right? It's a great way, and it kind of forces you to save money if you really, really think about it, right? And so it's a wonderful app that we're developing, and I want you to be first to hear about it and share it. Because again, there is an opportunity for you to start your own birthday circle, as well as start a savings group, or what I like to call a mission. I also have a mission on the app that I'm so excited to share with you. But for now, I want you to try the feature of birthday circles and savings groups. It's an app called Gifter. I think you'll enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching Dads of Detroit. See you next time. All right, we're cooking with grease. We are cooking with grease. Okay. Uh-oh. All right. Let's see if we can get one more. Let me see this here. My boy over there knocked out. Said he wouldn't die. Lie. Let's see.